Hello there, it's Keegan. Welcome to your weekly love reading here on the channel. I've been taking a couple of minutes to pre-shuffle this deck. I'll mix it up here on camera for you as well, just so you can see the cards being mixed up. I'll do a couple of cuts and mix the cards up, spin some cards around for you. I know some of you really like to see that the cards are being mixed. I don't do a ton of shuffling on camera because it takes up time, and I like to do all the pre-shuffling and getting prepared for things before starting to do the reading. But for those of you who like to see the cards being mixed up, there you go. The cards have been mixed. So I'm not going to do any specific spread for this week's love reading. I'm just going to go through and do some blind cuts and pick a couple of cards out. I'm going to start by opening this reading by asking my guys to just tell me what it is that is most important for me to know and understand about this love connection that you've decided to get some clarity or some insight about by clicking on this video. And then we'll go from there. I'll just use my intuition to see what I feel drawn to clarify or to ask about more deeply. And we'll see what happens. I don't give any sort of spoilers typically about my readings. I like for people to use their intuition to decide whether a reading is for them or not. And so you're not going to know what's going to come out from this reading unless you actually watch the reading. I think that too many people just kind of scroll through tarot readings until they find that one titled reading that gives them the exact answer that they want, and then they watch it and think, oh, that was so amazing, that exactly what I wanted to hear is what I heard. And so because of that, it's just once a week I do a love reading. And so if you feel like this is for you, then listen to that. If you were drawn to this reading for some reason and you clicked through, please be open to receiving the messages that come through and know that I'm going to do the absolute best that I can to deliver truthful messages to you, and I don't hold back and I don't sugarcoat. So if you're still going to hang out with me after all of that, if this is the reading for you, let's go ahead and get 2 or 3 cards and see what is most important for me to understand about this connection. So I think I'm going to start with 2 cards. There's one for sure. And I will do this one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the deck here because I might sneak a peek to see what's on the bottom of that, just to see what's going on. But let's take a look and see what the first 2 cards that we have out are. First card that we have is the 6 of Wands. It's up right here. And then we have the Strength card coming out reversed. So let's talk a little bit about the 6 of Wands. It's interesting to me, the energy coming through here with the 6 of Wands, because this is a good card to kind of lead out on this reading. You know, the 6 of Wands is a card that represents success in some way, a big victory, something that is usually some sort of recognition that has almost like a public aspect to it. And what I mean by that is it's not something that's secretive. And I think that that's important for those who are listening, that the secretive aspect of this, what I'm being kind of like shown is like a veil being lifted or some sort of secret being revealed, but it's not a bad secret. It's something that is good. It feels like a good thing to you. But that feels very important. My guides are emphasizing that again, that this is known, this is something that is public. So this could be something where you were keeping something secret until you felt like you knew for sure whether it was going to work out. This could be a situation where maybe you had to keep things secret for a period of time and now you're able to go public with this, but they're really emphasizing that. Now, the Strength card coming out here reversed, I do want to mention this because I think this is really important. You know, I'm asking here, what's the most important thing for me to know? Well, the Strength card, what I'm getting from this is that this was a struggle for you. This was something that, like, you weren't quite solid in your belief that this was something that was going to work out. There was a great deal of pressure on you to kind of, like, the energy that I'm picking up on here is almost like a lack of self-control. But what I think, the way that I want to translate the energy of this is that in those moments where you really felt like you weren't quite sure if this was going to work out, your confidence was shaken a little bit, maybe you were struggling with things, maybe your ego or your pride got in the way. In those moments, you really had to fight yourself to not lose your control. And I think that's going to make sense to the people who are listening, but I want to just tell you energetically what I'm getting here. you really had to overcome, I'm going to say, like your own toxic traits, your own self-sabotaging traits to kind of get this victory. Um, and what's interesting is I'll say this, when doing these general love readings, guys, I'm tuning into the energy of the people who are going to watch this, okay? And so I'm getting two different storylines here, and I'm going to talk about both of them because I don't want people to click away thinking, oh, this isn't for me, when it might actually be for you, okay? So for some of you listening to me, this victory, this public victory that you kind of had to, work on dealing with feeling doubt that you would have this success, this public success. For some of you, this is about a secret relationship or a relationship that you couldn't be public about, finally getting to the point where you're able to go public and that relationship having legs to it and having some sort of success. For some of you. Now, for others of you, this public success, this could be a situation where you've actually had some sort of public victory regarding a relationship, a love relationship. And what I mean by that is some of you might have finally left a relationship. Some of you might be finalizing a divorce. Some of you might have been in a situation where you weren't able to make it known that you were contemplating leaving a connection, but it's been done now and it's public and you've managed to close it out. Okay, I'm picking up two really different energies, and that happens sometimes in general readings because so far in this, right, it could be both. I think I do want to take a look, like I said, at this bottom card and see if that gives us any sort of clarity here. The card that we have is the Six of Cups. It's showing up reversed. I'm going to put it there. I'm gonna put it down here because I want to talk about this. Now, the Six of Cups, when it's reversed, represents the place where we're kind of stuck in the past. We're in a place where we are. It's not a healthy place. I want to tell you that. The Six of Cups upright, and it's reversed here, but I want to talk to you about the card when it's upright because it's easier sometimes to talk to you about the energy if I talk to you about the card in its upright placement. The Six of Cups when it's upright is about reunions. It's about really nostalgic, really fun, like good feelings about the past. Okay, when this card gets reversed, it either represents a place where we're stuck in the past and we're not able to kind of like get ourselves out of that thinking, or it represents energy from the past where maybe we were a little bit naive, or maybe we were in a situation that wasn't that good, and we finally got to the place where we were able to like close that energy out or walk away from it. Okay. Now, again, regardless of which of those two groups you're in, this card still does make sense to me because if you were in a relationship that was kind of secretive and you weren't able to be public about it, right? Because maybe this is the other person's energy showing up here because they were stuck in this, they couldn't walk away from something, they weren't able to really close out the past, and they were kind of stuck in it, unable to move forward. This makes sense, okay? For the people that I was talking about that maybe like you've just recently closed out a relationship, for those people, this is just talking about the energy of how long it took and how it was kind of stretched out, and you weren't really able to like close out that energy. So bear with me. This reading might continue. Sometimes I do readings, and throughout the whole thing, I'm talking to two very different groups of people. I like to emphasize in general readings, if something resonates with you, take what resonates in a general reading, leave the rest for whoever it's meant for. If you want specific insight into what's going on in your specific connection or how things are going to work in your specific life, that's what personal readings are for. And you don't have to do it with me. If you want to do it with me, I'm always flattered, but I know there are tons of people to choose from. But a personal reading allows the person who's reading to ask very specific questions. In a general reading, I can't do that because energetically, I start to narrow it down too much, and then it's not general. It isn't open for 100 people or 1,000 people to hear that reading and get messages out of the reading that help them to make decisions, okay? On that topic, I just want to say really quickly, I am doing a couple of tarot specials. I'm just going to put a graphic up here really quickly so you can see it. My tarot readings are priced right now 30 minutes, $30, 60 minutes is $60, a dollar per minute on that. It's the lowest price that I do during the year. I always do this around the holidays so that people can get a reading for themselves, or if they want to gift a reading to someone else. I like to make the readings pretty affordable. I also have packages for both the 30 and the 60-minute readings. If you buy 3, you get 1 free. Sometimes people like to do readings with me once a quarter. Sometimes people like to do readings with me once a month, and that's a good way for people to just have some savings if that's something that they want to do. So I just wanted to emphasize that to you, that if this resonates with you and you want to kind of get a little bit more in-depth into what's going on with you, you can reach out to me. My website's keaghankirk.com. All the information about tarot readings is there. You can book your reading, pay for it, everything through my website. So if you're interested in that, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So let's take a look here. I want to pull a card specific to you, the person listening to me, and then pull a card about the other person. I think this is going to help me to kind of start to fine-tune this a little bit for the people who are still going to hang out for a little bit longer. So let's see. The person listening to me, what's going on with you? We have the Ace of Swords here. This Ace of Swords is showing up reversed. Immediately with this, okay, I'm picking up on there being lots of confusion, there being a very tumultuous sort of energy. There's lots of stress coming through with this card. You're very stressed out, or you have been. You might just recently, like I said, right? This card feels very present to me, the Six of Wands. So you might have just cleared this energy. And I'll say this about, so for the person listening to me, one of the things that's also coming through is that you were very in your head about this and you felt stuck in terms of trying to, make the right decision, make the right choice, make the right moves. There's also this feeling of, I have to say, anytime like the Ace of Swords is reversed, for me, it can kind of represent a place where maybe things aren't being fully disclosed, maybe things aren't being, there's not total honesty about something. And so I do feel like, again, what I'm getting is there was this aspect going on, and whatever's happening with your relationship, it seems like I'm going to be talking to 2 groups for the rest of this, so I'm just going to tell you what I'm getting. Translate it to your specific connection the best way that you want to. This is very much that energy of, I can't tell the truth yet. I can't mess up and let this get out. I can't show my cards yet. I have to keep things close. On top of that, there's this energy of, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right choice? And this confusion and kind of a doubt in your own judgment that's coming through for you. Now, for the other person, what do we have here? So we have the Page of Wands. This Page of Wands is showing up here. It's upright. This is interesting energy. So one of the things always with the Page of Wands that I love about the card is there's an energy here about someone who's willing to take a chance, someone who's willing to kind of set out on an adventure. They're not necessarily, they're not scared of that. It's kind of like a free spirit sort of energy. And very often with the Page of Wands, for me as a reader, it represents something that's new, either a new project, a new way of thinking, a new idea. But there's newness around it, right? It can even mean like new communication in the right context. And so what I'll say here, right, is that this person, the other person, energetically, I'm picking up things like passion, I'm picking up openness, I'm picking up lots of like new energy around this person. So again, like it can fit for, either group, right? Like I'm trying to narrow it down for you guys because I know some people are just going to be like, oh, you're just trying to make it fit everyone. I'm really not. I'm really not. It's just that's the way this particular reading is going. We'll see if anything else comes through. And I do just want to mention, I think I just shuffled. If you don't hear the shuffling noise, it's because the microphone that I use has, I use a software program to cancel out background noise, so it just isolates my voice. So that if the neighbors are loud or a car drives by, it's not disturbing for the reading, but it also will sometimes not let the sound of the cards being shuffled come through. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to mix these cards up again. I'm going to turn some of them as I'm putting them back together. I know with these readings, I do see analytics. Sometimes people jump off. So we'll see what the energy is for the people who are still hanging out with me and listening. I'm going to move all these cards just up to the top row and go through. And I'm going to pull 3 more cards. I want to see what is the best advice or guidance for you around what's going on in this relationship right now. All right. First card out here, Five of Cups. It's reversed. I like this card when it's reversed. This is the card where it's often referred to as like crying over spilled milk. When this card is reversed, it means that you've actually kind of closed out that, right? You're moving on. There's some sort of peace that has come to you. There's acceptance of the situation for what it is. The Five of Cups is always, for me, a sign that hope is starting to come back. Usually this card is illustrated with 3 cups that are sort of knocked over and there are 2 cups left standing. And so when the card is reversed, the focus is now on what's left. What's very interesting to me, this card, the Strength card, even this 6 of Cups reversed and the Ace of Swords, I feel like for the person listening to me, this was a very, very hard space for you to be in. And I do feel like there is this feeling for me of someone having to make a choice of walking away from one person and choosing another person. And that to me, I do feel like we've kind of gotten on one timeline here, because regardless of whether you have this secret relationship that's now gone public or you've closed out a relationship, and that's now public knowledge, I think the people still listening to me, it could be both, right? You could have had to have made the choice to turn away from something so that you could focus yourself on what could still be good, freeing yourself of the past, freeing yourself of this self-doubt and not being sure that you can make something work, and having this public victory now where you feel like you're with the right person. This Page of Wands here. I do just want to mention it could be a fire sign, that the other person could be a fire sign. It doesn't have to be, but I felt compelled to kind of state that with that card. Let's see what these other 2 cards are here. 10 of Swords upright here, and then we have the Hierophant reversed. This right here, 10 of Swords upright, Hierophant reversed. This could very, very well represent a marriage coming to an end. The Hierophant in its upright position does represent sort of tradition. When it's reversed, it's kind of going against that, going against any sort of authority, going against any sort of like traditional way of being. The 10 of Swords here, I wish this card was reversed instead of upright. When the 10 of Swords is reversed, it means that you're in a place where you're starting to actually heal from that pain. You're moving on from it. The swords are starting to kind of fall out. Here, these swords are just being driven in. So I think right now you're still in a place where it still hurts. Even though you're here with this public victory, the Strength card showing up reversed here, this 10 of Swords, you're still kind of messed up about this. You're still dealing with the emotional fallout of it, even though it does feel like it's come to a close and you've moved on from it, but there's still pain associated with it. So bittersweet energy here. The other thing I want to say with this Hierophant being reversed here, a lot of times this card can represent almost like a notion of blind faith. When the card is upright, it represents traditional faith, like religious faith, spiritual faith. When it's reversed, that faith can be something that we don't quite know why, right? We don't know why we know that something's going to work out. We don't know why we're making the choice to do something. We don't know why one thing feels better than the other, but we know that it does, and we're willing to follow that. We're willing to actually see that through, even though we can't explain why, even though we can't rationalize it or justify it or explain it. We just know that this is what we need to do, and that's coming through pretty heavily for me on this, especially with it being the situation. Like these 3 cards down here are pretty heavy, right? You have intense pain and a very traumatic ending sitting in the middle, related to this notion of just kind of shaking off things that are traditional, shaking off things that are expected, doing something that is pretty unexpected, closing out something that was very painful, shifting our attention to being hopeful again and being able to move ourselves forward. So again, like it starts to make sense here for me as the reader at the end. Some people, the first part of this reading, that was enough for them. They got the confirmation they needed. Others stuck around, and now I'm saying for those of you, it's very possible that those 2 storylines I was picking up at the beginning, it's both, right? You could have walked away from something that wasn't working to be with someone that you feel is a better fit, but it all had to be kind of kept secret. It all had to be, like you had to wait. You had to wait before it could all be public. There were things that you needed to do. There were things that you needed to kind of like take care of before it was something that could really go public. you're just at the point, right? Like I said, like this card feels very present to me, where there's a victory of some sort. And I think for some of you, it is closing out one relationship and finally being able to make it known that there's this new relationship or this new person. Both people could have been in that situation, but I do feel like most of this heavier, painful energy, this Ace of Swords, the Five of Cups, the Ten of Swords, um, even the Six of Cups that I was talking about earlier, it feels like that's more for the person listening to me than for the other person. Like I said, when I looked at the other person, that Page of Wands, that's a very open, receptive, willing energy. Someone who's kind of looking at something, the newness is there. And so I don't necessarily feel as much heaviness from the other person as I do from you. Um, and again, if it is a fire sign, that kind of makes a little bit of sense to me. I might be reading for a lot of water signs. Water signs are very drawn to my readings, typically, especially Scorpios. And so this heavier emotional energy here feels very water sign. Again, it doesn't have to be, but I like to mention that when it comes through energetically, just in case somebody needs another layer of, confirmation that the reading is for them. What I want to do for you guys here at the end is I'm going to get a different deck. I'm just going to do a quick shuffle here on camera so you can see, mixing those cards up. I'm just going to pull one card out of that deck, and I'm going to grab my Oracle deck here to wrap this reading up. I feel like what's best here is for you to really kind of like get some insight into what next. I feel like this reading was pretty much confirmation for people, that this is what you've been going through, this is where you're at. If this, reading resonated with you, then it probably feels very personal. And so what I want to do to wrap it up is, now that you're here, you've closed out this stuff, you have hope moving forward, you're dealing with the pain, both people seem to be on board, it's known now publicly, what's best for you to know. What I want to do is I want to just pull an Oracle card, and I'm going to pull a tarot card here. I'll just make a cut. We'll do this one. Just to give me a little bit more insight into the message coming through from the Oracle card. And then we'll wrap this up. I do just want to say thank you for hanging out with me. I hope that you enjoyed the reading. If this did resonate with you, please take a moment to leave a comment, give the video a thumbs up, share this video with your friends or your family if you feel comfortable doing that. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to subscribe. So what's the best thing for you moving forward? What's the next step? What's the best advice coming through here for you? Card coming out here is The Universe Has My Back. This is actually the name of the Oracle deck. And so when this card comes out from the Oracle deck, it's the equivalent to me of like the Sun card coming out in a traditional tarot deck. It just means that you've made the right choices, you've done the right thing, you're in the right place, you're with the right person. The universe is doing what it can to help you get your strength back, to close out some of this pain. You're doing what you need to do by shifting your focus away from the stuff that didn't work to this new thing that you feel is going to work. And the tarot card coming out to give me a little bit more insight into this, we have the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups is reversed here. And that's just more of that energy of, something that is some sort of deception, some sort of, like again, they're showing me almost like a veil being lifted, right? Where anything that was deception, anything that was false, anything that was an illusion, that has been revealed, it has been dealt with, it's been shown to you, and you don't feel like there are choices left to be made. You feel like it's clear to me what choice I need to make. The Seven of Cups, when it's upright, represents places where we have lots of choices, often too many choices to try to deal with. And for me, that Seven of Cups in reverse means I've eliminated all of that, and I know the choice that I've made. And it's the good one. It's a good one. It's a good choice that you've made. And so congratulations on that. I don't think that this was easy for you. And like I said, it feels like it was stretched out for a period of time. It feels like this took a long time to get to this point. And so what I would say to you to wrap this up is just remember everything that you've gone through. Remember what you had to deal with to get to this point. And give yourself patience. Give yourself some grace, right? Even though it's closed out, even though things are moving forward, you're still going to have to deal with some stuff. You're still going to have things that are going to pop up that you realize are related to that old relationship. You'll have some fears and some trust issues that you need to deal with. And that takes time, right? So be gentle with yourself. Be open, be communicative. Share your feelings. Don't try to hide them or block them off. The universe is really working with you to make this work, though. So, congratulations. So, again, thank you for hanging out. Again, if you want to explore any of this or anything else more deeply with me as a reader, all that information is on my website, keaghankirk.com. I'll put my website link in the description box below. And again, I do readings here Monday through Friday. There's a new reading every day of the week. And check those out.